Now that big rail link. The government has today given the green signal for HS2, the £32 billion high-speed rail project that will drastically reduce journey times between major UK cities. The Transport Secretary Justine Greening has confirmed that the first phase of the route from London to Birmingham, on which high-speed trains will travel at 225 miles an hour, will start running in 2026 and cut journey times to 49 minutes, if you can wait that long. A second phase will see HS2 proceeding on a Y-shaped route to take in Leeds and Manchester, with stops in the East Midlands and South Yorkshire and links to the existing West Coast and East Coast main lines, which would enable through-running services to reach Liverpool, Newcastle, Glasgow and Edinburgh. Well, it's an ambitious and expensive project, and it's gained many opponents, not least those people who live in towns and villages along the new line. They protest that HS2 will rip up the countryside and won't justify the cost to taxpayers. But with the promise of much shorter journey times and a boost to regional business, not to mention the awe-inspiring image of a silver streak cutting through green fields at hundreds of miles per hour, there are those who rather envy the protesters. Would you welcome having high speed 2 passing through your town, or at least a bit closer to it? Do tell us, do call, do email. Alice Thomson is a Times columnist who backs the high-speed rail plan, and Joe Rukin is from the campaign group Stop HS2, which is based in Kenilworth, on the proposed route of it. Alice Thomson, first of all, why do you love the sight of these very fast trains?
I've always been brought up near railway lines, funnily, and I now live right next to Paddington, so I can hear the trains going in and out. And when I was younger, I lived right by Brunel's railway line, about 500 yards. And actually, I loved seeing the 125s, which are then the new, modern, latest train, going past. And I could hear them at night as well. And it's nothing like having a motorway or having another terminal or runway near your house. You don't get them coming past as often. There's not the litter, there's not the mess. They actually can look incredibly beautiful going through the countryside, I think.
So even if one is not stopping near you that you can catch, you're still happy to see it?
Yes, no, I think they actually can add to the countryside quite often.
Joe Rukin, you tell us why you disagree with that.
Well, I love the chocolate box image, but it basically pays no attention whatsoever to what HS2 is. See, this is one of the problems. People think they know what a railway line looks like. You stand on a railway platform, you know how big that is. But HS2, because of the sheer speeds involved, you're looking at 22-metre internal fence-to-fence width, which is about 6 lanes of road, and then another 25 metres either side clearance inside an external fence. So that's 72 metres altogether.
So they have to have
the pitch
fences.
At Wembley is 69 metres wide. That's how wide it is.
OK, and they have to have fences either side, do they, Joe?
Yeah, basically the turbulence you're looking at with a 220, 250 mile an hour train is that great that it just sucks everything up behind it, and there's a massive load of debris. And if the trains are any closer to each other, especially with them being double decker, they blow each other off the tracks with the amount of turbulence. Look at today's announcement, a pathetic attempt at a bit of greenwashing with the extra tunnels. They actually will significantly increase the carbon output because they're deep bored tunnelled, and obviously you've got more wind resistance.
A little bit too much detail there, because you're just talking about whether you actually might enjoy the sight, Joe, of this train whizzing past Kenilworth, where you live.
No, what I will see in Kenilworth, I'll see the complete destruction of the green belt between Kenilworth and Coventry, because it is one farm that already has a railway line in the middle of it, and if it goes through there, it's just economically unviable as a farm. It will be infilled. That's the end of the green belt there. The National Agricultural Centre, which is home to loads of jobs supporting the regional economy, including my sister's, it's going to decimate that, and people are talking about the jobs this will create on very fraudulent figures, but there's no attention whatsoever to the jobs and the tourism that you're going to destroy.
Alice Thomson, come back on that.
Well, funny, if you look at some of the railway lines that have been built, and particularly recently, if you want to look at it in Kent, I remember reporting on Kent, and they had exactly the same worries and concerns. And I always felt particularly sorry for the people. If it was going straight through your land, then yeah, that is a major, major problem. But when you go back and talk to some of the people now about it, in fact, we've got a letter in the Times today from someone who does live along the Kent line and says now actually how much he enjoys it and how he appreciates it, and how actually it hasn't distracted him at all from what he's doing day-to-day life.
But as I've said, you can't compare it with Kent. It's a much, much bigger animal, and you're just taking so much land from it. But I'm not here to talk about the land. I'm here to talk about the fact that this is the wrong priority for the country at this moment. It's something that has very, very narrow benefits, and it's cost of 17.8 billion.
The whole
just
point of the item
to Birmingham.
Joe, the whole point of the item is that actually you are creating a line that will create jobs. There'll be jobs in Birmingham, jobs in London, jobs between, maybe jobs in Kenilworth. There may be other people saying they want the line.
Well, so you're going to have to upgrade the other line
jobs
anyway.
for £17.8 billion. And no, you don't. This is another one of the great fallacies, saying that we're advocating this massive engineering programme upgrading the line. You just need longer trains. You can double capacity in every train out of Euston. Bearing in mind you're only looking at helping out the West Coast Main Line with this proposal, not the crush hour commuters all across the country. It's just the West Coast Main Line. You can double capacity. You add 3 extra carriages. You declassify one of the first class. You've doubled capacity just like that. And how can that cause disruption? Under HS2, Euston will have to be demolished. It will take 8 years to rebuild.
Alice, go back to your artistic argument, which is that the joy of seeing this thing speed through the countryside, if you can see past the fence, makes it worth it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the difficulty for it is the actual building of it and the fact that we've got to make it look as good as we can. And that's what Brunel did. If you look at his railway lines, they had exactly the same problem, and the Victorians had all the same sort of issues about it's going to look dreadful, it's going to be horrendous. But what they did use is the best materials and did it as fast as they could. And I think that's the problem now. I would be fighting on that and saying, actually, we want to get this done very, very fast. We want to minimise the problems, and we want to make sure that we have got the right people on the right job, and we've got the best doing it.
Thank you very much indeed.
The country doesn't have the money to do it. The country doesn't have the money to do it fast. See, it's already been put back 2 years because Crossrail is 2 years late, and we can't afford HS2 and Crossrail at the same time.
Thank you.
And that's the problem. It's going to take all the money for transport infrastructure for 20 years.